Hey, what's up, y'all? Hey, America. I want to talk to y'all today. I just wanted to tell y'all that in our country, it is no more freedom of speech. And the reason that I'm starting to see this is because I'm starting to see all these people protesting, like really all over the country. And I'm seeing people's heads getting bashed in and by the police. You know, the people that are supposed to serve and protect us, and not supposed to maliciously or hurt anybody. They're supposed to protect us, man, and they won't hurt anybody, and try and do bad things to people, like spraying with pepper spray, when they just sitting there doing nothing. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know why the police are getting so mad at the people, because they're protesting, or they are occupying actually public places. At the time it's public places, and they making a demonstration, and they say that as long as you are peaceful about it, then it's not a problem. And so all I can say is this: if you are protesting, make sure that you're protesting, and make sure that you are being nonviolent. Because shoot, I mean, when you're not being nonviolent, the police are being the police. The ones who are supposed to serve and protect us are they're hurting us. You know what I'm saying? They're hurting people that just want to have freedom of speech. The First Amendment. And if those rights are being violated, because as long as you're having a peaceful rally, these things shouldn't be happening. You shouldn't be getting sprayed with pepper spray, and all these people beat up and taken to prison and things like that. And like I said, I'm starting to see a pattern of this all across the country, and it's probably because of the recession. It's probably because of the economy. It's making people gather around and really want to voice their opinion on government. It's the government is supposed to be for the people, by the people, for the people, by the people. We elect who we want in office. We elect who we want as government officials. We're supposed to have this say so. We're supposed to have, and if things don't go, the way we want them to, then we have the right to speak up and peacefully protest those things and voice our opinion as a people, because it's for the people, by the people, and so we can get things changed. So let me just show y'all what happened, at the UC Davis, police pepper spray on student protesters. And this is just showing you one example of how we're losing the right to have freedom of speech in this country. Because if we had it, then this kind of stuff wouldn't be happening.
Membrane, so you start to choke. Your instinct is to rub your eyes, and then you realize it's soaking into your hands, and your hands start burning. It felt like acid was poured on me, and like everything that was touched by it, which, considering the amount they poured was most of my upper body, was on fire.
Now, tell us what led up to this. I understand that there were tents that were supposed to be removed, and there was a little debate about whether to remove them, and then the cops show up in riot gear, and the students decide to sit down. There's the scene. So what happened after that?
So we decided to protect our tents and to participate in civil disobedience peacefully. The school then the riot police broke through our chain and broke down the tents, which was supposed to be the aim of their mission, why they were there. They continued to make arrests arbitrarily because we were all participating in the same action, and that's when students like myself sat down on the walkway asking for our fellow students to be set free before the police left the quad. If they came for tents, why did they have to leave with 10 arrests?
And what was as this spray, and this is a lot of spray, I accidentally got hit with a little pepper spray once, and it was a tiny little spritz, and it was so painful, I literally collapsed on the ground and was rolling around. That's a lot of pepper spray. What was your were you in disbelief? Were you in shock when that started happening?
I couldn't understand how someone could pretend like they feel threatened when their visor's up and then spray people sitting peacefully on the ground like that, especially when we're young kids in our 20s. We're not threatening. To do that is just unbelievable, and it's so painful that a few of my friends blacked out. One vomited blood for the next couple of hours. Another had an asthma attack and had to go to the hospital. Somebody else was treated for burns. And after it happened, you could see us all withering on the ground in pain as the police kick us or arrest us off of the sidewalk.
Well, let me say this. I am so happy that we have videotape, because in an era before videotape, something like this might not have even been believed. It's unbelievable to me. You have to remember, by the way, the chief of police for UC Davis, Annette Spicuzza, on administrative leave tonight, along with the 2 cops who were caught on video using the pepper spray on the students. And I also believe that the responsibility has to go all the way to the top to the UC Davis chancellor. Again, I've already made a chant, Eric Lee, you're one of the students there. Hey, hey, ho, ho, UC Davis chancellor gotta go. That's my opinion. And I'll tell you a couple of reasons why. One, you guys were peaceful. You're not doing anything. You're not attacking anybody. 2, the UC Davis campus is a taxpayer-funded institution. You were not sitting on private property. It's not like you're inside some mega store. You were on a pavement that was funded by taxpayers. In other words, probably your parents. And certainly I, being bicoastal, am also a California taxpayer and have been for 18 years. I used to live there full time. This is not how I would like my tax dollars spent. I would like tax dollars spent on books, on computer equipment so people can learn and get jobs. Eric Lee, how upset are you about what happened?
I'm not just upset. I'm terrified by the events that happened on Friday. First of all, I want to say my friends Sophia and all the other brave students who got pepper sprayed in the face on video on Friday, these are some of the most intelligent, hardworking, caring, thoughtful human beings I've ever met. And to see the police treat them like this is shameful.
Yeah. Now, I have to say that Holly Hughes, you're a criminal defense attorney, but you're a former prosecutor. And we always try to get both sides of the story. Frankly, we were calling around today, and we couldn't get anybody to come on camera to say, we think this is a great idea. You, Holly Hughes, normally are a huge defender of law enforcement, as am I. I love cops. I want to be safe at night. I have the utmost respect for police officers. They do an outstanding job 99% of the time. This, however, I am almost speechless. Holly Hughes.
Yeah, Jane, normally I do side with law enforcement, but really, guys, these are kids sitting down on the ground. There is no threat to you. No one is even speaking threats to you. There is no mention that any of these students had weapons. And, you know, it doesn't surprise me you can't find any prosecutor to sign off on this. I would be surprised if you could actually find many policemen who would come on this program on national TV and say, it's okay to essentially mace, I know it's not mace, but pepper spray is just as bad, a bunch of sitting kids for doing nothing. They're out in the public, there's no threat, there's no weapon, the police were there to remove the tents, remove the tents. What are these young people doing to you that causes you to use this kind of excessive force against them? I'm horrified, Jane, and I'm like you. Big fan of cops. I prosecuted for 10 years, the worst of the worst. I mean, police officers were my best witnesses. I put away killers and serial rapists, and normally I'm all about the men in blue. But tonight, this is shameful, Jane,
well,
I gotta tell you.
The Occupy protests have certainly been targets before, and there is one person who's speaking out in favor of getting rid of the protesters, possibly any which way. I don't know. You listen to what Newt Gingrich has to say. He's a presidential candidate, and we'll discuss it.
All of the Occupy movement starts with the premise that we all owe them everything. They take over a public park they didn't pay for, to go nearby to use bathrooms they didn't pay for, to beg for food from places they don't want to pay for, to obstruct those who are going to work to pay the taxes to sustain the bathrooms and to sustain the park, so they can self-righteously explain that they are the paragons of virtue to which we owe everything. Now, that is a pretty good symptom of how much the left has collapsed as a moral system in this country, and why you need to reassert something as simple as saying to them, go get a job right after you take a bath.
All right, so I defend Newt Gingrich's right to say what he wants because we have freedom of speech in our country. But I also think that freedom of speech applies to those demonstrators who are out there. And you might like who they are or not, you might like what they're saying or not, but for all of our sakes, we have to protect their right to say it. This is a First Amendment issue. And I think there's nothing more patriotic than to fight for the right of Americans to speak their mind or to engage in this. Remember the Boston Tea Party, okay, that led to the American Revolution? That was direct action by colonists who were upset about taxation. This is part of our proud history, and I just find it very upsetting that somehow this is happening in America. Dr. Dale Archer, clinical psychiatrist. We've seen in Tiananmen Square a very brave person stand up to the tanks, and we say, that's terrible. In China, if you speak your mind, you're liable to get arrested. We see what's happening with the Arab Spring, and we see people risking their lives, dying, and we celebrate and call them heroes for speaking up. So why are we then silencing and pepper spraying people who are engaging in freedom of speech and freedom of gathering here in the United States? As a psychiatrist, what do you make of it, Dr. Dale?
Well, I tell you, Jane, it reminds me of an event that took place back in 1969, and that would be Kent State, and that was the galvanizing moment for the Vietnam War protest. And it ended up coalescing the entire protest movement, and all of a sudden, everyone said, we don't trust the powers that be because they shot and killed kids. Now, thank goodness this was not nearly as bad as that. But I predict this will be a galvanizing moment for the Occupy Wall Street.
Yeah, well, kids weren't killed here, thank God. Kids weren't killed.
Philips Sonicare, the #1 recommended power toothbrush by dental professionals. Now with up to 4 times.
Yeah, man, so...
It's the ultimate clean.
Yeah, in America, freedom of speech is dead. When you got stuff like that happening to people, innocent people that's just going and using their freedom of speech and protesting and with peaceful gatherings, and the police treating them like that, nah, something's not right. Something's not right in the land, and you know, I'm just praying for us in Jesus' name that that when we do stand up for things, you know, that I mean, you see what's gonna happen. You see what's gonna happen. So, you know, they trying to scare you already, because they gonna be trying to do things that they don't. The government is gonna be trying to do things that they don't want you to have a say so on. And so they trying to scare you right now, you know, into not even doing peaceful, nonviolent protesting, you know what I'm saying? But like if you can remember, we didn't have that nonviolent protesting, you know, back in the days with the boycotts and, you know, Martin Luther King leading that stuff, you know, the one in Montgomery, you know, and all that kind of stuff, you know, all of those boycotts. And if we hadn't had those peaceful rallies and marches and speeches, you know, and Malcolm, you know, different people, but those peaceful rallies, you know, and gatherings of people, then things wouldn't have been changed. So I always remember that, you know what I'm saying? So, and they people was getting bit by dogs, fire hoses, you know, during the civil rights movement, you know, fire hoses, and people shot for no reason, people just killed, people, tanks, all this stuff, you know, bullying the people, you know what I'm saying? So if you want change to happen, which is obviously what the people of America are starting to want. They want something to change, or they want to have a voice and opinion. They're trying to kill that voice, you guys. So we can't have that happening. We can't have them silencing our voice and having our rights. You know, they established the rights that we would have, you know, when we came to America, you know, and so freedom of speech freedom of speech is one of them, you know. So we are able to use that right, and we shouldn't be penalized or hurt, or, you know, especially by the people that's supposed to protect us, you know, the people that's supposed to look after us, you know. And like the woman said, you know, shoot, the cops, you know, they do their job the right way, you know what I'm saying, protect and serve, you know what I'm saying, and they save people's lives every day, you know, real heroes. And, you know, then it's people like this that we just saw, you know, that are police officers that don't have the right heart for the job. You know what I'm saying? You're supposed to protect and serve innocent people. You're not supposed to hurt innocent people. You eat pepper spray. You wouldn't want nobody pepper spraying your child. You know what I'm saying? So why would you do it to these kids at this college? You know what I'm saying? Like, this is just an example. And it's like it's happening all around the country. I think it's even some stuff in Dallas right now going on.